please remain standing while Joy Castro sings for us the national anthem.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all our sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Joy, will everyone please be seated? Good afternoon. My name is Julie Longo, and I am the Dean of the Faculty of Arts, and I have the great pleasure of being your Master of Ceremonies today. I welcome you, all of you, graduands, friends and family, faculty, special guests, all of you to this wonderful Langara College graduation celebration. At this time, I'd like to invite anyone who's standing at the back to try to find any free seats if there are any, although I do think we have a bit of a full house today. Before we begin, there are a few items I have to cover. The first is, please be aware that this ceremony is being recorded to allow guests in the overflow room to view the ceremony, and also to allow us to live stream this ceremony on our website to all the corners of the globe. Now, some portions of this recording may also be used on the college's website to promote participation in future graduation ceremonies. This is a very special day for some individuals, and so I ask that you please take this moment to turn off your cell phones and all other personal devices that make noise. No, really, do it now. Thank you. At this time, I would like to introduce the members of our platform party, and I'll ask them to stand briefly, and I ask that you hold your applause until the very end. Dr. David Ross, President and Chief Executive Officer. Ms. Ann Lippard, Vice Chair, Board of Governors. Ms. Lynn Carter, President of the Langara Faculty Association. Dr. Carleen Varco, Professor and Director Pro Tem, University of British Columbia School of Nursing, and today's keynote speaker. Ms. Teresa Liu, Board of Governor. Mr. Mark Smith, Board of Governor and Chair of Interdisciplinary Studies. Dr. Ian Humphreys, Associate Vice President of Student Development and Marketing. Mr. Roy Dakin, Vice President of Administration and Finance. Ms. Deanna Douglas, Vice President of Enrollment Management. Ms. Sue Street, Executive Director of College Advancement. Ms. Linda Arnold, Associate Vice President Academic. Mr. A.J. Patel, Director of International Education. Mr. Ian McBain, Dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences and Management. Dr. Wanda Pearson, Instructor, School of Nursing. Ms. Janine Lennox, Department Chair of the School of Nursing. Ms. June Parnell, Coordinator of Nursing Curriculum. Ms. Shona Chekalis, Board Member of the Langara Alumni Association. Ms. Charlotte French, Registrar and Director of Enrollment Management. Mr. Pierre-André Santin, Director of Information Technology. Ms. Diane Bradley, Division Chair of Health Sciences. I am now pleased to call upon Dr. David Ross, President of Langara College.
Good afternoon, everyone. We'll pick up speed, right? Board members, distinguished guests, graduands, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you to Langara's 46th Convocation. This is an important day where we recognize student success, all of their hard work, and certainly outstanding achievement. From the quality of the graduands we have in front of us, it's very easy to believe in the power of education and how it transforms lives, builds confidence, and certainly grows leadership. Aristotle suggested that the roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. Sacrifice, dedication, and hard work have gotten you here to this start. For the Langara graduates of 2012, you enter your profession when the need to create a new future is critical. Change is front and center, and fresh ideas and answers are being sought. Questions on care delivery, system sustainability, resource allocation, and patient expectations will require change. Home versus hospital, mobile technology, collaborative practice are all examples of the many forces requiring transitional leadership, inclusion, and certainly your participation. Now, these challenges are not just local. Increasing numbers of countries are attempting to improve their quality of life through improvements to their healthcare systems. As such, you are part of a generation of graduates that will in part build their careers through experiences, perhaps not just locally, but as part of what I see are emerging opportunities, which are just now being defined. I would encourage you to participate and lead them, but bring the networks, the awareness, the understanding back home to help with the challenges we face. Embrace it all, enjoy it, plan for it, so that you can take full advantage of what it has to offer. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank all of the parents, family members, friends that have supported and sacrificed to help today's graduands to this beginning. You all need to know that your involvement is very, very important and very closely related to the success of these learners. I think I can speak on behalf of all the graduands in thanking you for all you've done and will continue to do as they take their next steps. In closing, to the graduands, you'll soon be Langara alum. I invite you and challenge you to be active, to help support future learners, and to build your network in the broader Langara community. Now, Margaret Wheatley suggested, all change, even very large and powerful change, begins with a few people when they start talking with one another about something they care about. I look forward to hearing about your conversations. Congratulations to the graduands. You've achieved a lot. Enjoy the day and look forward to all that's to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ross. I will now ask Ms. Ann Libert to bring a message from the College Board of Governors.
I'm not that tall, so I have to adjust this. Mr. President, distinguished guests, faculty, staff, family and friends, but most of all, dear graduates, I'm pleased to bring you greetings and congratulations from Langara's Board of Governors. We wish you much success in your next endeavors, be that in the workplace or in continuing your studies or both. For you will be working in hospitals and looking after those that need care and are sick. So we thank you for that in advance. Today, you're far more knowledgeable and wiser than when you came to Langara. You have listened and you have learned. Members of the Board of Governors of Langara have also listened and learned. Governors ensured that Langara is and remains the leading undergraduate college in British Columbia. We ensure that our students choose Langara because we're well known and recognized for providing exceptional learning opportunities that lead to future education and career advancements, and also meets the needs of our diverse community. People, facilities, and additional resources are all fundamental to better serving our students. We are proud of what you have achieved so far, and we wish you much success in the future. Please stay in touch with Langara. We're looking forward to seeing you at alumni events. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. I will now ask Ms. Lynn Carter to bring greetings from the faculty.
Thank you, Julie. Board members, Dr. Ross, honored guests, colleagues, and graduands. On behalf of the faculty, it's my pleasure to extend to all of you our very best wishes on this very special day. As your instructors, counselors, and librarians, we've had an opportunity to meet and to work with you at some point during your studies here at Langara. We've enjoyed being a part of your successes and your achievements. We were pleased to assist you when you wanted to select a course of study. You chose nursing. And we're delighted that we were able to assist you to be successful in completing your degree. We know that many of you made sacrifices to complete your studies. Some of you had to overcome significant barriers. You gave up time with your families. Some of you had to live below the poverty line in order to attend school. We appreciate and we commend you for your dedication and your commitment. Teaching and working with you has also been a rich learning experience for us. You've helped us to find new ways to present course material. You've always been quick to tell us about what worked and what didn't work, and that's been really helpful, and we thank you for that. Some of you will be going on to incredible jobs. You'll be going on to graduate work in some instances. Many of you will be doing both. We thank you for having chosen to study with us here at Langara, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Congratulations.
Thank you, Lynn. Now I give you President Ross again, who will present an award to a graduating student and introduce our convocation speaker.
Thank you. And I'm not looking for your welcome. It's my pleasure to stand up here now and introduce to you a truly outstanding student. The President's Medal for Academic Excellence and Community Service is awarded to the student graduating from a degree program who has demonstrated academic excellence and service to the community. The Langara College Excellence Award for degree programs is awarded to the student graduating from a four-year program with the highest cumulative grade point average. I am very pleased to present the 2012 President's Medal for Academic Excellence and Community Service and the Langara College Excellence Award for degree programs to Sarah Chu. Sarah, could you join me, please? I don't want to lose them. Congratulations. Good to see you. That's happy. Sarah is graduating from the Bachelor of Science in Nursing program with a GPA of 3.95. So Sarah earned the highest grade point average of any baccalaureate degree graduate at Langara this year. Faculty describe Sarah as an outstanding student that is caring, compassionate, and committed to care of her patients. Throughout her program, she embraced opportunities to learn in both clinical practice and classroom situations. Through her dedication to her studies and application of what she's learned, she is truly a role model for her peers. And I know from a conversation I had with her last week, she's already started her career and is working at Royal Columbian Hospitals. See, I really do listen to what you say. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me truly great pleasure to present the 2012 President's Medal for Academic Excellence in Community Service and the Langara College Excellence Award for degree programs to Sarah Chu. Now, I'm very pleased to introduce the speaker for our convocation address this afternoon. Dr. Colleen Varco is a professor in the School of Nursing at the University of British Columbia and is currently the director of the school. She began her nursing career in the critical care areas at Vancouver General Hospital, and after teaching critical care nursing for a number of years at VGH and BCIT, she completed her PhD in nursing. She then taught for 8 years at Langara campus of the University of Victoria, where Langara nursing students completed their baccalaureate degrees at that time. Her research focuses on women's health with emphasis on violence and inequity and the culture of healthcare with an emphasis on ethics. Members of the Platform Party, ladies and gentlemen, graduands, it gives me great pleasure to give you our convocation speaker for this afternoon, Dr. Colleen Varco.
I see some of you girls out there have some high heels I could be using. Mr. President, thank you very much for that warm introduction. Board members, honored guests, families, friends, faculty members, and most of all, new nurses and graduates. It's a tremendous honor for me to be invited to speak to you today. On the occasion of your graduation, it's a bit of a daunting task to try to figure out something that I could say that would be meaningful to you in line with the significance of this moment, of this occasion. I was asked to sort of reflect on what I've learned being a nurse and offer some advice. So I can at least do the former, if not the latter. As Dr. Ross said, I have a particular connection to Langara in that I've been on this campus. I was on this campus for 8 years and taught Langara students. And I have to say that I found Langara students to not only be the most diverse in multiple ways, but also some of the feistiest, most socially aware, committed nursing students I've ever worked with. And I can imagine that you're very similar. So, what could I glean from my 40 years of nursing? Now, this is the point at which you say, oh, she doesn't look that old. That might be useful to you as you launch into the next phase of your lives. And I know some of you are already out in practice and graduated a little while ago, but it's still that period of transition. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about what I have done and what I've learned along the way. So first, I entered nursing not for some higher purpose, but primarily because my family was too poor to help me with an education, and because I had a very violent stepfather, I needed to get away from home. So I went into nursing not because felt I was drawn to it, but it was something I understood because my mother was a nurse, and it was something that I knew I could do and I could afford to do. And I sort of had this vision that I would afford to go to medical school ultimately. However, I didn't find nursing a compromise. I found an unexpected fit for me. And after I graduated with my diploma, I was still an unwilling participant in some ways, and I was always going somewhere else. So I undertook my bachelor's degree, again, thinking it was a path to somewhere else, and partly to get out of night shifts. You can relate. Okay. But, you know, during as I was practicing, I was increasingly frustrated by the limits of what I was able to do, the care I was able to provide one person at a time, but I wasn't really having an influence on the larger world. And through, you know, some of my education, I really found that opportunity, and I think that you're entering into the workforce with those possibilities already in hand. I have a bit of a sense of your curriculum, and I know that you're not just providing good care one patient at a time, but you're thinking about the larger picture. However, I still had this idea that I was going somewhere else, and it took me a while to find my place. And I'm saying this to you because for some of you that might be true as well. I also want to say to you that I entered into nursing in ICU, critical care areas, emergency, critical open heart recovery, those kinds of areas, because I thought it was the height of nursing. I thought that that was the most challenging and the most glamorous. And it took me a while to gradually realize that the scope of nursing in those kinds of settings can be quite constrained by the dominance of technology and biomedicine. I'm not saying they're not good areas, but it's not that one area of nursing is more challenging or better or higher on the hierarchy than another. So I did my master's degree perhaps for better reasons, and eventually I did my PhD, but just to get a better job. And it took me a long time to really find my passion, and that's where I finally found my passion. So for me to be able to work in nursing practice and actually do something about violence and work in the context of very diverse and challenging situations in healthcare and in the world in general that constrain people's health, to work in relation to racism and poverty and stigma and all those influences that shape people's lives on a daily basis is just such a privilege and an honor for me to be able to do that. I looked for job opportunities, but I found a meaningful life. And I think that's what I wish for you. So what is my point for you? I think some of you are entirely clear that you've chosen the right path, that you're in the right place, and that you know where you're going. You know you'll love your work. Some of you think that you've made a good step, but you might be looking around you and thinking that your path is going to take some sharp turns somewhere else. Others might be quite unsure. You might not know where you'll fit. You might know if you'll fit. You might not really know where you're going. But I think it's only going to be exciting to find out. You've got an amazing foundation. So first of all, I think your motivations can be many, and that's my point of sharing this with you. But nursing is always going to offer you, no matter who you are or what you care about, it's always going to offer you that opportunity to have a really meaningful life and career. As nurses, we have that incredible privilege of being able to do good in every moment of our lives, of our working lives, at the same time as we're actually earning our living. That's a privilege that so few people have. What we do matters, and it often matters very, very deeply. We can be with people during the most significant times of their lives: birth, illness, death. Those are the most important times of people's lives, and we have the privilege of walking alongside people during them and being of significance to people in those moments. Second, I don't think it matters where you begin or really where you practice, whether it's it's global, international work. You're working in a refugee camp. You're working in a long-term care setting. You're working in a medical unit. You're working in the community, in an outpatient clinic, as a street nurse, whatever. It really doesn't matter. Because you can have as profound an impact in a long-term care setting as you can in an ICU. And in fact, in some cases more so. The opportunities are there for you to embrace, but I think you have to embrace them with your eyes wide open. And so a few things I want to say is, first, don't be fooled by the apparent power of biomedicine and technology, because it can often sort of detract or obscure the people that are in front of us and the people that we're trying to do good care for. And I think don't be fooled by the sort of taken for granted power, for example, of economic imperatives. When somebody tells you that care has to be compromised because we don't have enough resources, I think you always have to remember that economic decisions are choices. Financial decisions are always choices. And the decision to spend more money on equipment than on direct patient care is a decision, and nurses have got to participate in those decisions. Also, don't be fooled by the push to behave and be an expert. I think you have to continue to develop knowledge and expertise, but you want to keep your unknowingness. You want to keep your humility. You want to keep your ability to question. So, you know, as new graduates, we're often feeling the need to really prove ourselves. And along with that can come the temptation to pretend knowledge or to fail to acknowledge the limits of your own knowledge base. The danger in nursing is thinking that you know when you don't, or arrogance, or failing to question continuously. At the same time, I think it's important that you know that you have all the necessary basics. You've been given all the skills, you've developed all the baseline knowledge base, and most importantly, you've cultivated the ability to question thoughtfully. When you get your black belt in karate, or when I did anyway, I was told that it's a license to learn. And I think the same thing. You have your baccalaureate degree, and it's a license to learn. And I just want to say that the impact of the simplest of skills are often the greatest. Your ability to listen, to be non-judgmental, to convey unconditional positive regard to the patients for whom you're providing care, and to continually question are your most powerful tools, regardless of the technical skills. Finally, I want to say, keep who you're serving in mind all the times. Sometimes it's very challenging to keep the fact that we're providing care to patients as the top priority, because other priorities can kind of overshadow those priorities. And at the same time, I think you have to always know that when you're providing care to the patient in front of you, you're providing care to many more people. When you're providing care to a child, you're really providing care to those parents and to many others at the same time. So my final words is believe in your gut. If something feels wrong, it is wrong, and if something's wrong, you need to do something about it. You want to find allies that align with your best values, and you want to always question and take action when things aren't right. You're the building blocks of healthcare and the healthcare system, and you are the future of nursing. You're our hope for the future. You're the hope of your faculty. You're the hope of the entire profession. And you have the opportunity to, one moment at a time, create a much more healthy, meaningful, just society. So I sincerely congratulate each one of you, and I wish you a very meaningful life and career.
Thank you very much, Colleen, for those inspiring words. We will now confer degrees upon the graduates of the Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Now, you may have noticed that Convocation is sort of a magical day. In case you doubt me on this, you may have heard us referring to graduands as as the ceremony progressed, lest you think we were simply mispronouncing graduates. A graduand is someone who is in the process of graduating, and a graduate is one who has in fact graduated. So there is, in this ceremony we're about to see, a moment of magical transformation when one goes from being a graduand to a graduate. When does that actually happen? Well, it actually happens when the president, the chief officer of the college, ceremonially awards the credential and when he shakes the graduand's hand. With all magic, there is considerable choreography. And so I ask that you listen to me as I provide instructions for making this happen smoothly. Graduands will approach the stage from my left. You will give your name card to Dean Heldman, who will present your name. You will stand on the marked spot, you'll see it, it's taped up here, on the floor, and you will turn to photographer number 1. There he is waving. And you will stand there until Dean Heldman calls your name, at which point you will walk across the platform, receive the magical handshake from the president, and have your photo taken for another time facing this photographer. Shake hands with the others on the stage, go down the stairs, be greeted by a board member of the Alumni Association who will welcome you into the Alumni Association, greet faculty members. You will walk down the east aisle of the hall, that's that far one there, and then up the center and back to your seat so that you're not in the way of anyone taking photographs of their great person graduating. Failure to follow these instructions will mean your degree is revoked. Okay. It won't, but it would go a lot smoother if you followed them. Faculty who'd like to congratulate the graduates are more than welcome to stand here on the east side of the platform. Audience members who'd like to take a photo of their special graduate from a closer position are also welcome to come and do so here, but to please try to wait until it's close to your graduate's name so that this area doesn't get clogged up. And then to quickly move back to your seat so as not to block other people trying to take photographs. Those students graduating with distinction will be acknowledged as their names are read. To graduate with distinction, students must achieve an overall grade point average of 3.67 or greater in the final 60 credits of a bachelor's degree program. I will now call upon Margaret Heldman, Dean of the Faculty of Science, to present the graduands.
The following have completed the requirements for the Bachelor of Science in Nursing: Marta Andrea Aldana, graduating with distinction, Sally Brooke Alexander. Camille Jahan Ali. Jennifer Radovan Altirez. Sheena Crystal Eng. Graduating with distinction, Reggie Zachary Dister Anna Suda. Sheridan Lynn Archie. Andrew Hill Arciaga. Graduating with distinction, Karanjeet Kaur Athwal. Graduating with distinction, Samuel Au. Maya Ava Liane. Jody Lynn Baya. Rachel Beauchamp. Graduating with distinction, Brian Patrick Bacos. Sarah Kathleen Bouchard. Fredolin Henri Bactonel. Graduating with distinction, Stephanie Boussaillon. Lynn Cabano. Joanna Cyril Cabatuando. Graduating with distinction, Angeli Capitulo. Graduating with distinction, Satwinder Chahal. Graduating with distinction, Chantel Sabina Chandra. Seema Chowdhury. Anit Chima. Jacqueline Elizabeth Chisholm. Graduation with distinction, Flora Chu. Brian Choi. Jacqueline Choi. Graduating with distinction, Sarah Josephine Chu. Vivian Chu. Christian Zane Clado. Graduating with distinction, Tasha Clark. Selena Michelle Clement. Graduating with distinction, Janelle Marie Curry. Graduating with distinction, Michaela Juliana Giselle Diane. Tracy de Guzman. Joanna D. Rene Junior de Leon. Graduating with distinction, Raman Dudwal. Graduating with distinction, Baljit Dosanjh. Okay, stand on the spot. Smile for the camera. Nina Soraya Elter. Michael Payal Eskandar. Jason Roswell Garner. Amy Guman. Natasha Gill. Sharon Gill. Parmajit Kaur Gosselin. Maria Teresa Guerrero. Bianca Neves Guglielmoti. Charles Guo. Lalaine Ruth Mercado Gouray. Ashley Nicole Hall. Shirley He. Jenny Hin. Carmen Ho. Sunny Kin Long Ho. Nazgul Jala Inan. Eric Michael Jung. Ravina Kala. Jessica Hoyin Kam. Shima Kayam. Sheila Kayam. Graduating with distinction, Kayang Maria Kim. Kevin Kim. Michelle Koo. Graduating with distinction, Taya Tracy Croman. Oh. Yuju Katarina Kwan. Alyssa Kelsey Lasserson. Amanda Nicole Lee. Layla Laity. Graduating with distinction, Joanne Leong. Graduating with distinction, K.Y. Leong. Graduating with distinction, Yvonne Hoyan Lee. Rochelle Nicole Lim. Helen Grace Latam. Tina Louie. Winnie Liu. Ivana Lukic. Afsoon Majidi. Crystal Artatis Malaliang. Nisha Matu. Helen Matamona. Clarice Joyce Mendoza. Kieran Kaur Mooker. Sheena Narayan. Kim Kong Nguyen. Victoria Tuivi Nguyen. Winnie Nguyen. Kendall Alexia Oliver. Kaylin Eva Marie Ouellette. Majda Pasyar. Sabiha Patel. Katrina Ann Poloski. Vernice Shane Payson. Marlon Chester Perez. Nirmin Punja. Graduating with distinction, Ashley Sumita Ram. Renee Diane Ringer. Megan Elizabeth Ross. Charmaine Ann Ruiz. Adrian J. Solero. Justin Andre Solero. Stephanie Ann Samila. Mary Lou Raphael Sante. Michael Suzo. Sylvia Solo Mickey. Sarah Celeste Taplin. Hang on tie. Rebecca Wan Ling To. Josiah M. Tomlinson. Olivia Man-Yuk Sang. Charlene Queen Uy. Carmen Francis Valley. Marissa Varley. Barbara Alexandra Valkoviak. Colleen Mary Williams. Graduating with distinction, Christine Ann Yap. Graduating with distinction, Winnie Jennifer Ye. Sarah Louise Young. Rena Yu. Sandra Lynn Zamora. Linda Louise Zaff.
Please join me in congratulating the graduates of 2012. Before we bring the ceremony to a close, I have a few words of thanks to offer. First, I wish to thank everyone here for helping to celebrate this special occasion. Many of you are here to see one particular graduate, and we thank you for all the special support you've provided over the years to help that person's success. My congratulations and thanks to all of you. As well, I thank the college employees, faculty, students, and volunteers who have contributed to this memorable day. I'd like to thank our theater arts students, Joy Castro, who sang O Canada for us today, and Massey Day, who provided the music prior to the ceremony. I would also like to invite the graduates and honored guests to attend a reception being held by the college and the Langara Students' Union in the Langara Students' Union building. As you exit the Convocation Hall, you'll be directed to that reception area. For anyone who wishes to have photographs taken, our TONA will be taking photographs in G109 in this building. That's the top floor of this building. If you did not get your shoe photos taken before the ceremony began, there's still an opportunity to have a photo of your shoes taken in the foyer back where we began the ceremony. And I would like to encourage the men graduates. We need pictures of your shoes too. Graduates, I ask that you please return your gown to the gown room immediately following the ceremony and prior to going to the reception, because we can't really have cake on the gowns. I'd like to ask now that the audience remain seated while the graduates proceed from the Convocation Hall. Once the graduate and platform parties have left, the guests may leave through these doors to the east and meet their graduate at the reception. Thank you, and we'll see you at the reception.